Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GABNET, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Facebook group called Star Trek Discovery. Somebody posted, this was the worst episode ever. It was just a bunch of people on the ship talking. and I just have to say...
Have they not seen Star Trek before?
Yeah, I just have to say, if you are looking for action and explosions, you are likely to be disappointed by Star Trek. May I recommend another viewing of Star Wars?
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
So I just had to bear it as it was trying to heal. And then I would be sleeping on my stomach, and then I would turn around, and it had adhered itself to the sheets. And so whatever scab I had, are you ready for this, folks? Whatever scab I had would get ripped off, and I'd be bleeding like a stuck pig. And so I had to finally, you couldn't put a Band-Aid on it. You know, it was in a place you just had to wait for it to finally take care of itself.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
Well, you know, we have to get rid of Pence as well, because Pence is an end-timer.
You know, and we need to say to Pence, you know, you're damn right. I want a rapture because I want fools like you off of my planet.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
The Jesus guy in San Francisco, when you go down 19th Avenue, the guy with the pink phone.
Okay.
I know you've met him before. I know you've seen him before.
Okay, what about him?
The one that says, when you're walking down the street, he walks up to you with the pink phone and he says, Jesus is on the phone.
Oh, okay. All right.
And he tries to hand it to you, and you're like, wait a second. Now he's walking around with Jimmy Garoppolo's on the phone. You gotta answer.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday, and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
So, Lizzie, you say you never cheated in a relationship.
Nope.
But you do understand cheating. And I'm pretty sure you may have done that in some way, shape, or form, just not in the relationship. You ever cheat on a test? You ever cheat on your diet?
Yeah, my pregnancy.
Yeah. I failed.
Dang it! It says no.
Last test I took, I failed.
Two tests you don't want positive, right? HIV and pregnancy.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GABNET. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before.
Hi, everybody. This is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the GABNET page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey! Hey, this is Alex, and this is the Ramble, and we go from now until midnight tonight, Eastern Time. And for those of you trying to find us on YouTube, usually you could go to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett /live. But for some reason, that link does not seem to be working tonight. But if you go to my Facebook page, there is a link there that will take you directly to a page where you can then look at the live program. I'm sorry about that. All these companies keep screwing up and screwing up and screwing up, and I don't know why I keep doing this, but just let me know if it's been easy enough for you to find us tonight. In the meantime, we got to check in with an old friend. an old friend. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no one quite like Larry Brown. Hello, Bubbles.
And we can take that in many ways, yes.
You know, I was talking about you on last night's show, and I'm trying to remember the quote of yours that I was using, and everybody laughed heartily.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny. I can't remember the joke.
Well, I can't remember half my jokes myself. So.
Yeah. So how you doing there, Bubs?
Okay, I'm coming up on my 37th anniversary, which is horrifying and depressing.
What do you mean? Wait a minute. Of marriage?
Yes, marriage to comedy. Yes, March 3rd will be the date. So it just really hit me. God, so much time's gone by.
How many years?
37. Be 37.
So you started in when?
March 3rd, 81.
And where was that?
Holy City Zoo.
The Holy City Zoo. Wow.
Which was probably smaller than your apartment.
Oh, easily smaller. You could fit it probably.
Literally, right?
Fit that in my dining room and my living room. Those two combined were about the size of the Holy City Zoo.
Yeah.
And I appeared at the Holy City Zoo once, and it scared the shit out of me. Because, you know, for somebody like myself, if there are, I could go out to Stanford and do a thing at Frost Amphitheater in front of 9,000 people, and it doesn't bother me at all. But get up on a stage where there are 10 people in the audience, and they're right there at your feet, and that's scary.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think starting out, it was good when you started out, but after a couple of years, the room kind of freaked me out. I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, the reason it's scary...
They're right on top of you. It's very intimidating.
Well, people say, how can you go out in front of 9,000 people? And when you go out in front of 9,000 people, and I think you'll agree with me, did you do any of those shows with me, like the Frost or whatever?
Oh, yeah, they were amazing.
It's just like, it's this wall of people. So it has no personality. Whereas when you got 10 people sitting in a front row and that's it, in the whole club. 3
feet from you.
Yeah. That's fucking scary.
Yeah, very intimidating, yeah.
Yeah. So so anyway, so how many years now? 36?
Be 37.
37. That is roughly, it's over less than half my life.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You're how old now?
I've hit Medicare, so yeah.
You hit Medicare, so you're 65.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you like Medicare so far?
So far, it's been working. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it through Kaiser, so it's not like I think if I just took the straight Medicare, it would be less. But I'm kind of stuck in the Kaiser system, so they.
Oh, so you have the supplemental, is what you have. You pay for a supplemental.
Actually charge me for things that I think that you probably get for free or much less than I'm paying, but it's still not bad.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a copay and things like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what you're getting from Kaiser now is a supplemental to your Medicare. In other words, you have your full Medicare, but then you have through them, I guess, a supplemental, which they take care. In other words, Medicare takes care of 80%, and what the supplemental does is take care of the other 20%.
Right.
See, so that's probably what you have. So far, so good?
So far, so good. Good trivia. Who was the first person to sign up for Medicare?
Yeah.
Do you know? the first person to sign up for Medicare?
I would say it was Lyndon Johnson.
Very good. It was Harry Truman.
Oh, really? I'm close. Yeah.
They had. I just remember when I was really young when Medicare passed, and it just seemed like it wasn't a big deal. Now to get any type of health care done is a nightmare. So I think the country ran better 50 years ago.
Yeah. So anyway, so it was Harry Truman.
Yeah, they had a big. Lyndon Johnson was there. They had a big ceremonial thing because it was Johnson's bill, and they had Truman sign up.
But Johnson, I guess, wasn't old enough.
Well, he wasn't 65 then.
Oh, okay, all right. Wow, that's cool. But everybody, they'd like to get rid of Medicare. Yeah, they'd like to get rid of Social Security, but they really can't because you've been paying into Social Security all your life. It's your money, right?
They're trying to do things with it. I don't know if they will. But.
Now, I don't know what they would want to do instead of Medicare, but to me, Medicare has been somewhat of a godsend, although because you have to pay. Here we go, folks. This is old people's radio again.
Which people hate.
Let's call him with your thoughts on Medicare, folks. With your Medicare problems. Medicare is probably one of the best programs we have. Okay, and they'd love to get rid of it in order to build the wall. Or to pay for some other infrastructure stuff. That's Paul Ryan's attitude. We don't need Medicare. What do you mean you don't need Medicare? What do you want? If you cut out Medicare, I'm going to die. All right? Because I couldn't afford to go to a doctor. Neither could Bubbles. But you have to then have this secondary. And the trouble is the secondary, in many cases, costs a lot of money. I know that if I were to get the secondary, say, through ARP, it's something like $250 a person. That's $500 for my household.
Yeah. I
mean, that's the kind of money I used to pay for health insurance, period.
Exactly, yeah.
But nevertheless, in fact, I think, Paul Ryan, you fucker, you asshole, I don't think we should get rid of Medicare. I think Medicare should take care of 100%. I mean, after all, I worked all my fucking life. I paid taxes to this country. I contributed whatever my part of this society is. And now that I'm over the age of 65, you should fucking pay for everything that, that I need when it comes to going to a doctor. But you talk about the 20%. Let's say you don't get a supplemental, all right? Let's say you get cancer, like my wife got pancreatic cancer. Who knows how, ex-wife, not my current wife, they got pancreatic cancer. They operated on her. That was successful, and that was great. That doesn't normally happen with pancreatic cancer. But anyway, I'm sure the bill is at least $300,000.
Easily, yeah.
Easily, maybe four. Okay, but let's just say it's arbitrarily $300,000. Okay, and she doesn't have the supplemental, let's say, but she does, I'm sure. But let's say she doesn't have the supplemental. What's 20% of $300,000? That's $60,000. Can you afford $60,000?
Nope.
And that was a life-saving operation. So, guys like our House Speaker, Paul Ryan, want to kill us old people.
But they've got the greatest health plan. They pay nothing for it.
They've got like a great health plan. They pay nothing for it. They have it if you spent 2 years as a congressman. You get it for the rest of your life.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's worth more than the 2 years they paid you.
Yeah, so it'd be worth it to go to Congress for one session just to get that.
Oh, it's you, but it's you and your family as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this idea that Paul Ryan wants to see people die, fuck him. See, here's what I think. I think that it's time for, if they cut out our Medicare, they cut out our Social Security, they try any of that shit, we should become violent. Old people. Number one, let's say we have an old people revolution. We have an endless amount of suicide bombers. Mainly because some of those people have been given, like, you have pancreatic cancer, you have 6 months to live. Scrap the bomb to me and I'll go down to Congress. Right?
They're severely depressed.
They think we're an easy thing. The fact is, we're the most dangerous group in America. Because we have nothing to lose. Yeah, so I mean, but you've had some health scares in your time.
I've had thyroid cancer, melanoma, riddled.
Riddled with cancer.
Riddled.
Just riddled with it. I wonder
that's just the part. You're just getting old. It's just one thing after another. So.
Well, I mean, my stuff is all like achy, painy stuff.
Yeah.
It's not. And I'm also losing my memory. I'm losing my mind. The other day, I'll tell you a story about. Hey, folks, I'm the Sacagawea of aging. Okay, I'm out there looking at the frontier, pointing ahead and saying, "Don't go there, but let's go here." Okay. We have a show here. It's called Connections. Right? They come out of Florida, and every night at the end of the show, they post their show to the playlist. All right. And the other night, I suddenly noticed that they didn't post it. So I wrote them an email or a text saying, "Hey, you didn't post your latest show." And then after writing that and sending it, because the evil is that you then send it and there's no way of retrieving it back, I suddenly realized it was Saturday. And they don't do a program on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so old the minute that happened. I felt like I was just, completely out of it. I just find that my abilities are diminishing. I think my abilities as a broadcaster are diminishing. People say no, they're not. But I feel they are, because it's just a little bit more difficult for me to do it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't notice it, but if you do.
Well, I do,
Mm-hmm.
And it's very nice of you to say. Also, I don't look a day over 34, right? Anyway, so I mean, it's like I just find that things that I used to do and just every week I go to Costco. Okay, try this one on for size. Every week I go to Costco and so I go to Costco and I buy like a flat of Diet Coke or a flat of Snapple. Okay. Every week, lifting those things gets a little harder. I've noticed. Wow. It used to be I used to just pull those things, throw them right in the cart. Now it's. Now maybe that's because I don't work out and shit like that, but it's like everything's just a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I have to in the old days I got to change a light bulb in a ceiling fan or something like that. Hey, I get up there and do it. Now I call the super. Because I'm afraid I'll fall off the ladder.
Yeah.
Right? This is what happens when you get older, folks. I know I don't want to depress you. And don't go, don't go getting very depressed on me, but I'm depressing you. But this is what happens when you age. You just, so I don't have any, I haven't had a cancer. I haven't had I have an enlarged prostate, so I take some pills for that. That's about it, But I have like a torn meniscus in my knee, and the bottom of my feet get numb, and it's achy things. It's not anything that's it's, like you've had some things that have impinged on your health, right?
Yeah, and they just make you cranky. So
yeah, I mean, but what did you had thyroid cancer, right?
Yeah,
which is not uncommon.
No, it's they said a third of the population has it. They died of something else and never know it.
Yeah, so they removed your thyroid.
Yeah.
So as though you weren't tired enough most of the time.
Yeah, so now you'd have to take a pill every day. So had I known that it probably wouldn't kill you, I wouldn't have had it done. But surgeon pressured me into it. Now I resent that. So.
Really? Well, okay.
Yeah.
What do you need that thyroid for anyway? You just need it for energy.
Yeah, just to stay awake.
And energy has never been part of your act.
No.
Your act has always been a low.
Which is probably why I never went anywhere. I was watching. Who was I watching last night? Kira Sultanovich, who's great, just a really strong energy, and I think that's what crowds want.
What is he? Comic?
She is a comic.
She is a comic. She is a comic.
Yes.
Okay. And where did you see her?
The Throckmorton Theater in Mill Valley.
Yeah, and she was really good.
Oh, she was like, the laughs were as strong as like when Robin was back there 3 or 4 years ago, just ringing off the wall. Yeah, I just tore the place apart.
Wow, what's her name again?
Kira Sultanovich. She's been around. She used to do a lot on Leno a few years ago, and I think she's on Chelsea Handler's, one of her first shows.
Really? Well, how come now she seems to really be kicking ass?
Yeah, I'm surprised she's not. I mean, she's known, but she should be famous. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we all know how that works.
Gee, I just mistyped your name on something, so for this week you're going to be Larry Bibbles Brown.
I like that. I'm tired of bubbles.
Also, my typing is starting to fuck up.
The first sign of Alzheimer's, typing errors.
Calling bubbles Bibbles. Okay, from here on in, you're no longer Bubbles. At least for this week, you're Bibbles.
That might become permanent. I like it.
You like Bibbles?
Yeah.
You should do a thing like, who was it that kept changing his name? P. Diddy. He was P. Diddy, and then he was something else, and He kept changing his name. Every other week he's changing his name. So you should do the same thing with Bubbles. This week you're going to be Bibbles.
Yeah. Chameleon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bibbles Brown. If we ever do another show, I'm going to introduce you as Larry Bibbles Brown.
That could happen.
And everybody will go, I thought it was Bubbles. No, it's been Bibbles. Yeah, so. Anyway.
Well, speaking of death and aging, you know who just died was, and I saw it at the Throckmorton last year, was Marty Allen, who was
really.
90,
I thought he was
90,
dead. I thought
96.
I thought he was dead.
No, he was running around the stage a year ago.
Marty Allen, I don't know if you feel this way about him, but I think it was one of the worst comics of all time.
Not one of my favorites, but just kind of amazing to see someone go that long.
Well, it was Allen and Rossi.
Yeah, started as a team. That's when I saw him in the 60s as a kid on Merv.
And they kind of felt they were Martin and Lewis.
Right.
Yeah. Although the Martin and Lewis, I'm trying to remember his name now. Did you ever see a movie called Bela Lugosi Meets the Boston Gorilla?
And no.
It starred...
Sounds great.
It starred Sammy Shapiro? Was that his name? I have to look it up here. His name was Sammy. Yeah. And he was, if you look at him, it's almost hard to tell he's not Jerry Lewis.
Really?
Yeah. A very strange act. And it was, and Duke was the other guy's name, but I can't remember his last name now. Wait a minute, hold on a second. I used to know these. I have the movie here. It's, excuse me. And let me type in Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi. Lugosi. Go see. Meets the Brooklyn Gorilla. There it is. It's like the second list. Okay. Sammy. God, why couldn't I remember the name? Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo. And Sammy Petrillo was the phony Jerry Lewis. And in fact, he was so good at it that Jerry Lewis was on the Today Show, and they say, we have a clip from one of your old movies, and this goes so far back, you probably don't even remember it. And they showed a clip from Bela Lugosi Meets the Boston Gorilla. When they came back to Jerry Lewis, he said, that's not me.
Wow. I got to see that. This guy, it sounds amazing.
That's Sammy Petrillo. Go on. Well, I have to tell you to go on to YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's going to work.
But by the time you know what I was going to do? I was going to do for you. I felt very bad about you because you keep talking about still having that flip phone, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of old iPhones here. I have one that I just got rid of that doesn't go back too far, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking of sending you the iPhone, letting you initiate it and all that. But then I thought, in order to update it and do all those other things, you have to have the internet.
Exactly.
And if you did dial-up and you had to update your iPhone, I think by my reckoning, it would take 2 or 3 days.
Probably past my life expectancy.
Yeah. But otherwise, I would send you one of these phones because I think you really should have be in the modern age. So if you can get, I'll do this. If you somehow can get high-speed internet into your house, okay, I will give you my iPhone.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah. So you might consider somehow squeaking into the 21st century.
Let me see if I can try. I tried. I called somebody the other day. They don't serve this part of the city. So
don't serve what?
High speed Sonic. They don't. They had a pretty good price.
Well, don't you have what do you have? Don't you? What's your main cable company there?
We got Comcast and what's AT&T.
Okay, well, one of them will do it.
Yeah, they're pretty. They charge. I hate dealing with them either. They both suck.
Well, you can get the lowest tier cable. You don't have cable, right?
No.
God, do you believe this, ladies and gentlemen? This is a man I said was impervious to what do you call it? Identity theft. Because there's no way they can steal your identity. You have no way they can come after you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although you have some credit cards, and they did find out a lot of credit cards a while back.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I got the other day? You're going to love this. I got a letter from Gary, my business manager. This came in the mail today. What should we do about it? And it's from Montgomery Ward saying I owe $143 because it's not that I owe them that. I ordered something, and they can't send it to me until I put a down payment of $143. I never have been in a Montgomery Ward in my life, okay? Let alone been on their website, let alone signed up for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them, and I said, what's this about? I said, I didn't. Well, this is probably fraud. I said, oh, okay, good. Nice of you to be so casual. They said, let's turn you over to our fraud department. And then I wait for 20 minutes on hold for their fraud department, who, when I finally get them, it's like they could care less. Yeah, we see what the problem is. Yeah, it's been canceled. Thank you for calling. Bye. What? Why did you send me to your fraud department? Your fraud department's a fraud.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was about. So, apparently nobody used my credit card, because had they had my credit card, they would have used the credit card, right? But instead, they went online, charged this thing. They send me a thing to my post office box in San Rafael saying, you owe us this money before we can send the merchandise. So who would use that?
That's bad...
And the thing where I screwed up is I called them. They said, "Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, there's some PlayStation controllers." I said, "Oh, okay." I should have asked them what's the address they wanted it mailed to.
Exactly.
Because that would be then I would get a hold of them and say, what the fuck are you doing? You know? Try it again and I will have you arrested. Yes.
Oh, maybe. I hope they don't try it again.
Hey,
Remember
yeah.
Years ago, there was a credit card that was charging you every month for something, and they wouldn't stop, and you finally just canceled the card. Then they called. Do you remember this? Then they called you. Why'd you cancel?
I can't remember that, but it probably happened.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we've run out of time.
It flies by.
It flies by. With you, it just keeps going by. I mean, half the time we talk about me, but what the hell?
Oh, you're more interesting.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be back again next week.
We'll be back.
I promise you. Larry Bubbles Brown. Thanks, Bubs.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is Gavin, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And there's our old friend Larry Bubbles, or what did I call him? Bibbles? Larry Bibbles Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Bad typing on my part. Larry Bibbles Brown. Anyway, love talking to Bubs. He's the best. Anyway, here we are getting ready to do yet another Citizens Panel. Before I do, something strange happened. I just discovered it before we went on the air tonight. You know, the way you could, like, bookmark our page for our site, for our live thing, was youtube.com/Bolo Bennett/live. But when you do that now, nothing comes up. Now, either it's something screwed up at YouTube or whatever, but if you just simply go to facebook.com/Bolo Bennett, then that page comes up, and then there's a thing that says live. Double click on that, and it takes you to the page that you would have gotten the other way, and then bookmark that one and just keep it up all the time. That's the best thing I can suggest. I don't know. They keep changing. These companies keep changing the game on me, and I really don't like them changing the game on me. It's part of the problem that I have to deal with here. That and little technical things that keep me up till all hours of the night. Like last night, the Luddite, Jack Bishop, who does the show right after this one, was having troubles getting onto our server here to be able to deposit his program. And I had to then walk him through it because it wasn't any kind of problem on our part. We didn't have anything wrong going on this end. It was on his end that they were having the problem. So I had to figure out what the problem was. And it was simply he had to reboot his client that he uses to sign on to the server here. And that is a suggestion. By the way, the lines are open if you want to call. If you don't want to call, hey, I can go to bed early tonight. I say that every night. I never get to go to bed early because people call. Anyway, so I had what happens is that if you find that something doesn't work on your computer, something you always use, a browser or whatever, just, close out the program and start it again, but really close it out. Go quit, boom, stop it, and then start it up again, and it'll probably work okay. Or if something's really not working well, either with any kind of electronic equipment you own, just pull the plug, and then plug it back in and let it boot right up. And usually the reboot will solve the problem. So that's the depth of my technical ability here. Oh, look who's calling. First up tonight is our old friend from Plano, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, there he is. Scott Boddicker. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Okay, yeah.
Can I comment on some of the Bubbles conversation you had?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
Lyndon Johnson never made it to 65. He died at 64 and a half, so he never got to Medicare.
Even though he's the guy that gave it to us.
He never made it, so he saved us some money, I guess.
Yeah, but, Bubbles always has little facts like that.
And Truman, Truman got it a few years, didn't he? I don't know when he died exactly. I'd have to look him up.
But he was the first one to sign up for Medicare. Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, you're spinning around, so start it and stop it and start it again, and it will probably be okay. There's your face, and now come on, picture, come on. There he is. All right, now we have him. The technology is just like I can't figure out what the hell happened with YouTube and the way in which I use this. Use people to call, which was just youtube.com/Bolo Bennett /live, and you got the live feed, right? It was that easy. Well, all of a sudden that doesn't work. A blank page comes up. So now you have to go over to YouTube, put in Alex Bennett, go to my channel. You'll find the live lead there, and then bookmark that one, the one that you come up with the picture. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. Quite frankly, it makes little or no sense to me. Boy, everybody's calling tonight. Jason, you there? Jason was calling, and now he's not there.
The Jason or another Jason?
The Jason. I've got a.
It's not Friday.
I know it's not Friday.
It's Valentine's Day. You'd think that he would, sequester today.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me try. Are you there, Jason? Let me try calling Jason. Maybe if I call Jason, no, I can't do it. Can't do it because he's supposedly logged on. Hello, Jason. Let me hang up on him, and then I could maybe call him. Add to group call. There, I do that, and now we'll call him and see if it works. Maybe he just butt called us or something like that. And his wife said, "You cannot call tonight." Hello, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
Are you there? Okay, turn on your camera. There we go. What? Yeah, you had a little trouble the first time, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The Skype just shut down on me, and then the second time it was like trying to call, and then it just stopped.
Well, nothing's working tonight. I mean, I'm having trouble with this YouTube, but people seem to be finding us okay because we got a lot of people watching us. So I guess everybody knows how to see the picture. So. Yeah.
And I was going to tell you too, because I heard you saying something about your Bolo or whatever. Yeah. Just type in Alex Bennett, and it comes right up.
What do you mean? When you go youtube.com/Alex Bennett?
I don't know about that, but I open up YouTube in an app. I'm pretty sure most people probably do.
And then you put in Alex Bennett, and you find my picture, and you click on that, and then
boom, first thing right there.
Yeah.
And it says if you're live or not.
There are a lot. It's not hard to find us. Apparently not, because we've got a lot of people listening tonight, in spite of the fact that Phil called.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day. Okay, now let me.
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, what?
Thursday or Friday. I'm not calling.
Oh yeah, right. Because you're mad at me, and you hate our audience, and you don't want to have anything to do with them.
No, it's just Scott.
I'm trying to be nice because it's Lent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is Lent, isn't it? But it's.
Where's the dot?
Now, does it start today, Lent?
Yes.
So all those people who wanted to take, all those Catholics who wanted to take their loved one out to dinner can't do it, right?
Yeah, they can have one meal.
You can.
Oh, you can have one meal.
Well, it depends on what you're giving up. You could.
Yeah.
There's no restriction on eating on Ash
I'm
Wednesday.
Jewish. I don't know anything about this shit.
Yeah.
So today, did you become a dot head?
Yeah, with the it was the saddest thing. This horrible thing that happened down in Florida with these. Is it 17 are dead now? I think.
Yeah.
The latest count.
Oh, what?
Some kid went into the school and started shooting it up, and next Paul Ryan's going to say, "Well, it's not guns' fault." No, it's not guns' fault at all. Anyway,
no, it's both a society for allowing this kid to.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that nonsense later. We'll listen to your idiocy later about this topic.
Just point everyone towards the carpet one in fucking California.
Yeah. And everybody, bring your guns.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, so now where was I going with that?
The kid pulled the fire alarm. Everybody came out.
No. That was when I was. Yeah. I'm saying that something like that happens, and of course Paul Ryan won't do anything about it. No.
None of them will.
No, you know, how many kids have to be killed in schools before we start saying, see, I'm all for just doing away with all firearms. You can't have them. I can't have them. Nobody can have them.
You don't need to do that as long as you got thoughts and prayers.
Just give everybody a gun.
Yeah.
There's too many kids anyway. Come on, you got to get rid of a few of them.
Thoughts and
Just
fucking
give
prayers.
everybody a gun. Teachers, kids, faculty, everybody.
Well, anyway, so I was getting you know where I was going with this was Valentine's Day. Yeah. Okay, so today was Valentine's Day, and it's Lent at the same time. You can celebrate Valentine's Day and Lent at the same time?
You can't even get laid.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Well, with Lent, you give up something, right?
Yeah, that's your choice.
Yeah,
you can. I mean, lots of people do. You heard what Patrick gave up. He gave up walking.
Yeah.
He gave up. He gave his list last night.
Yeah, it was a very good list too.
He's really sacrificing.
Yeah, I'm giving up cheating on my wife. Which I haven't done because there's a good reason.
Nobody wants to cheat with you.
That's one good reason. Yes, you hit the nail on the head on that one. But even if there was, and I did, she would kill me. So I mean,
you've got to sleep.
Yeah, and that's another reason for us not to have guns, so she can't get one. Anyway, so today was Valentine's Day, which I consider the most treacherous day of the year.
It's another Valentine's Day massacre.
No, what happened was it wasn't, to begin with, it wasn't like some ancient holiday that somehow came down through the ages and touched us all right? No, it's a holiday that came down from Hallmark and touched us all.
There's a saint. I think it was Saint Valentine. And, there's other saints that are very important saints. There's Saint Christopher, but the one I like is
They gave him a medal. What?
Saint Parker. He's the patron saint of parking places.
Yes,
and if you pray to Saint Parker, you find a parking space.
Yeah, we know that one. Now let's get back to Valentine's Day. So basically, it's a holiday that was promoted by Hallmark so they could have some reason to sell cards. I don't know when we first started going with this nonsense, but it had to be just a few years ago. Okay.
What's the most you've ever paid for a gift card? Like, today I bought a card. It was $11.
Today was the most I ever paid for one. It was $9.50.
Yeah, when I used to work in a drugstore, they were 50 and 75 cents.
Do you remember when you were a kid? There was a book full of them that you cut out, and you handed to your classmates. Here's my Valentine to you. Yeah. Books of Valentine, but cards were maybe a buck.
50 cents, 75 cents. If you paid $1.25,
so I went in today and I found one that said you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're this, you're that, and then when you open it up, it has like one of those pop-up things, and it goes, and I'm the luckiest husband in the world. I just liked it because it was a pop-up, because I had pop-up books here, and
you like pop-up things, right?
Yeah, I like pop-up things. Yes, especially certain things.
I was looking at maybe like business cards that were pop-ups.
Actually, we had at Play a business card that was a pop-up. You open up the card, and the word Play came up. They were very expensive cards to make, so after a while they stopped making them. And I don't have one now. I wish I did. I had a whole box of them, and they were really very special.
Maybe Damien's got them in the storage room.
And we have to ask him what his Valentine's Day gift, and probably that his wife let him call the show tonight.
Yeah. I'm out of town, so.
Oh, you're out of town. Oh, so you're cheating. You're cheating on your wife, is what you're doing.
With us.
Yeah, on Valentine's, huh? Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll get to where you are in a second. But anyway, so my question is, yes, the Valentine's Day card that I bought today, I saw the card, I went in, I figured, it's going to be, $4, maybe $5, $9.50. Now I wonder, now tomorrow they're probably going to be 35 cents, but today they were $9.50.
Well, so then you go tomorrow and you buy it for next year.
Well, you know what I do? I never take her out to dinner on Valentine's Day.
You get the shittiest meal.
We did that one year, and we went to one of our favorite restaurants, and it was a prix fixe thing where you had this limited menu. It wasn't like the normal time we go there on my birthday when I have the whole menu to choose from, and they had a combo, so they raised the price on everything.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
They want you in and out because of seatings and all that. It's
Right.
very.
Just got back from dinner. I walked in the door like 2 minutes ago.
Really? Because you had to take her out to.
She took me.
She took you. And I bet the restaurant, there was a limited menu, and they charged more.
We went to Casa Arinda. She was in the mood for fried chicken, which they have the best. And I was in the mood for a steak. But to tell you the truth, I would have rather have had her fried chicken. It was so good.
Well, actually, Popeye's is the best fried chicken. But let's not get into that.
Casa Arinda and Arinda.
What are you giving me a look for, Jason? You don't like Popeye's chicken?
It's all right, but there's other little mom and pop places.
Oh,
that are better
yeah,
than
I'm
Popeyes.
sure. Anyway, getting back to all of this. So this is the day when we are somehow forced to buy a card, buy some flowers, and
3 dozen tulips.
Huh?
I got tulips.
You got
Thank
tulips
for Costco. I went into Costco. I said, "Oh, there's not too many roses left." This is like 4:30 tonight, you know. And
where do you think I got my flowers today?
You Costco?
Costco, yeah. You know why? I've always found that they have the best flowers. They last the longest. And I learned a little hint. You know how you get roses and they're all kind of closed?
Yeah.
You know how you get them to open up?
Aspirin.
No. Breathe on them. Just go.
Depends on your breath.
Well, it has nothing to do with your breath. It has to do with the warmth of your breath.
Dioxide?
Yeah, and it causes them to open. But anyway.
Don't on their own?
Huh? Yeah, eventually. Sometimes. I've had roses just stayed shut for the whole thing till they wilted away.
If you get them on Valentine's Day, you get shitty flowers. My ex-wife used to be in that business, and it was the worst time to buy flowers. Mother's Day, Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but you've
Alex,
got
when
to.
you were in the city, did your place was right down the street where you worked from the Flower Mart in San Francisco. Did you ever go into the Flower Mart and see
The Flower Mart, where was that?
San Francisco?
Well, I know it was in San Francisco, but where in San Francisco?
A couple blocks from 10th and Market.
Well, I didn't live down there.
No, I didn't live there. That's where you worked.
10th and Market? No.
Yeah, what you call it building.
Well, it's now. You know what it is now? It's the
Twitter.
It's the Twitter building.
Right.
Yeah.
It used to be the Merchandise Mart.
It was a Merchandise Mart. Yeah.
I had an office there.
Oh, okay. So, I don't remember. I never saw a flower store there.
It was 2-3 blocks down.
But anyway, the thing is that you can't buy the flowers the day beforehand because they're going to get wilted by the next day. You can't buy them the day afterwards and say, "Here are your flowers retroactively," because she'll give you a dirty look.
I found it out the hard way.
So you've got to buy the flowers on that day, and that's why probably the florists are selling you all the flowers that are dying fast. You know.
Well, they have to go crazy to get these shipments in, and they buy whatever. There's no selection process. I like these. I don't like these. It's just ram them in. Whatever you can get me, I'm going to sell.
At 4:30 tonight, I like red roses. There were none. You could get any color but red, and they all and different colors came in the same bouquet. So that's why I got the tulips. And the tulips were nice.
See, I went at 2:00 this afternoon, and they were lousy with roses at Costco.
Really?
Yeah. So I bought her some roses, but I didn't just do that. She is on this, this god awful diet. She has some allergy, and they've never been able to figure out what it is, and she keeps shooting herself up with drugs to keep
keep
her from itching. Right. So they're trying to figure out what it is. So finally, they put her on this diet that's very restrictive. I mean,
gluten-free?
Huh? Gluten-free. I think it's water-free. I think everything that is known to mankind she can't have except maybe steak and chicken. Yeah. And so naturally, I couldn't do chocolates for her, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing she's been doing for herself is making smoothies. But now she even is beginning to find that in making this, when she tried to make a smoothie last night, she had a problem with it because all of a sudden the blender I bought several years ago decided to just die. Mm-mm. You know, the motor just went. Pfft.
Yeah.
So I went to Costco and I bought her a blender for Valentine's Day. And a Ninja, yeah.
I use a Ninja at work, and I have a Vitamix at home. The Ninja does a better job of making smoothies.
Really?
Vitamix makes a lot more foam.
Yeah, well, this was and they weren't particularly cheap, but I remember blenders used to be like $20. You used
to get them when you opened up a bank account at the bank. You either got a blender or a toaster.
You got a blender or a toaster, exactly. So anyway, I got this brand. She never heard of it, of course, the Ninja, but I've heard of it. And I figure, if she doesn't like it, guess what I can do at Costco? Take it back.
Well, I had a NutriBullet, and it died. A miserable death. And then I got the Ninja.
What do you mean a miserable death? Did it shoot itself in the head or something?
No, it started making all these noises, and you started getting this metallic taste.
Well,
that's never good.
That's what it tastes like to bite the bullet.
Yeah, it was definitely a miserable death.
Yeah. So that's your yeah. Anyway, so that was terrible. Anyway, so I got her the mixer, and I brought it home, and a card and the roses, and I was a hero. Yeah, she and I said, if you don't like the mixer, we can always take it back. And she tried it once, and she said, this is terrific. And now we got another mixer. She was using her Cuisinart to make her smoothies, and that's a big problem.
Cleanup too.
Huh? Yeah, a lot of cleanup. Yeah. So anyway, so what did you do, Rob?
Well, we're on that strict diet, so there's no going out to eat and no chocolates or anything like that.
Right. Same situation here. Okay.
Yeah. So what I did was I've been watching, the two of us have been watching QVC, and got hooked on it. And so there were a bunch of things over the past several weeks that I bought her for Valentine's Day. We were watching something, whether it be makeup or whether it be whatever, just a bunch of different things that made up Valentine's Day. And I gave her a card today, a $12 card.
Wow.
Hey, Rob, I thought the only way to get hooked on QVC is when they're selling heroin.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, tell me if I'm nuts about this. I'll be flipping through the dial, channel surfing, and all of a sudden there will be a show on like demonstrating a vacuum cleaner or demonstrating something.
An infomercial?
And I will stop and watch it.
I find that these people on QVC, because there are times when I don't want to really pay attention to TV.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into a new series. I don't want to watch a movie. I just want it on. And you find that these people have pleasant personalities, and they keep there's a cadence to it that keeps it moving. And so it never gets boring or dull. And, they joke around. And like I was watching the food program tonight, it's all about different kitchen items, which I get crazy for kitchen items, right? And different, I bought 6 pounds of these awesome looking meatballs that are all made with all natural ingredients. The difference is they're stuffed in the center with fresh mozzarella.
Huh. Have you ever had those meatballs they sell at IKEA?
No.
Well, you have to put them together, though, don't you?
There's
a schematic.
It would be an improvement. I've never taken
look at instructions.
Terrible. As the meatballs at IKEA, and they're cheap. They're like 99 cents for 3 million of them.
I'll tell you, this is 6 pounds, and they also had 6 pounds. I didn't buy it, but I was so tempted. 6 pounds of the tenderloin tips, the filet mignons.
Yeah.
They're just all the tips, right? And it's what's the name of that company? They sell to all the restaurants. There's a big steak company. They were on selling them. What's that?
Cisco. Their restaurant supply. Cisco.
No, I don't think that was them. It was a steak company.
What's this other steak company that always have Omaha Steaks?
Yeah, but no, it wasn't Omaha. It was
Yeah.
another steak company, and they were selling 6 pounds of these tips for $84. Good deal.
Yeah.
Is that a deal?
Yeah, it's a good deal.
So,
that's for filet mignon. That's filet.
$13 a pound.
$14 a pound.
Well, listen, compared to the price of beef lately has been, I don't even buy it anymore. It costs so much. I mean,
I
it's
buy
really
my steaks at Costco, and ribeyes are like, what is it, $16 a pound?
Yeah.
And that's ribeye. They talk filet.
Yeah.
Now,
We have a place here called Stu Leonard's. Most people are not familiar with Stu Leonard's, but here in New York they are. And Stu Leonard's has this one place up that we go to in Connecticut that, in fact, it's a path you take to go through the store. And their meat there is not bad. A girlfriend bought some ribeyes the other day, and we figured, they're probably going to be crappy. And they were delicious. They were wonderful.
I've been buying porterhouse steaks with the bone in at Whole Foods for $14.99 a pound.
Well,
these things are like 2 inches, 2 inches thick. These are. You put it on the grill, and it's like butter.
Whole Foods used to be very expensive, but I hear the prices are starting to drop like crazy because Amazon bought them and wants to drive everybody out of the business. And today I got a thing for Amazon where I can now order from Amazon food, and it'll be here within 2 hours because I live right near a Whole Foods, and they're going to deliver it.
Well, through Amazon Prime, they had this 2-hour delivery thing in certain cities. San Francisco and Walnut Creek and New York are 3 of them.
Wow.
They don't have that by me.
Yeah, no, I know. There's only certain markets that have that. But I haven't tried it yet. But I stop at the Whole Foods on the way home from work. I go to the meat counter. I grab my steak, and I come home and go to sit it on the barbecue.
May I apologize, please, to one of our listeners who doesn't call, but he writes like crazy. He calls himself Forbin Colossus.
The guy's, it's crazy.
What you read them?
Yeah, I read them occasionally in the early show, right beforehand, right? Yeah.
Where do they write this stuff?
On the side of the page there is a chat going.
Oh, not the Skype, but on the.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
On the YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But he keeps saying, "Damn you, Bennett, read." Well, the thing where I would read it is over here, and I'm looking at my people over here. Okay? So I'm telling you now, it's very hard for me to necessarily see what you're reading, but occasionally I look over there, and all I see is Forbin Colossus, Forbin Colossus, Forbin Colossus, Forbin. Is there anybody else out there who would like to chat? I mean, if you're watching us, you're probably on the same page with the chat, so join in. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. Jason, you obviously didn't do anything for Valentine's Day because you're out of town. Why are you out of town?
For work.
Oh,
can you even hear me? Because my thing is messing up.
I can hear you fine.
A little bit. Okay.
You got a beautiful picture, and you sound.
I'm looking
terrific.
at the YouTube thing. There's 3 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. What moron gave you a thumbs down?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Oh, I have it on top chat. I should turn on the other part so I can see everything. Live chat, and I might get other people at some point here.
See this chat?
Huh?
I don't see the chat, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's to the right.
It's to the right of the picture.
I'm always to the right. But.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
So maybe to the left for you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
You might be too far right.
Anyway, so you couldn't do anything today, Jason. Scott, did you do anything? What did you do for Mrs. Scott?
I took a 2.5-hour nap while she went to work.
Oh, I see. Okay. And that was your present to her?
Yeah, I didn't bother her.
So my wife, we're not into that at all anyway. Like, she thinks it's dumb too, so.
Yeah.
My wife will will take any excuse for me to take her out to dinner. You know? What day is it? We're celebrating next week. What are we celebrating? The first time you and I went to a movie? Oh, really? Didn't we just celebrate our anniversary? Yeah, but this is another anniversary. You know, I mean, it's just on and on and on like that. And I go, do you mind? Do you mind if we not go out to dinner? What? We never go out to dinner. We do every time there's an occasion. But we don't do Valentine's Day anymore because you get ripped off. And she even agrees with that. So, you know, who needs that? You don't need it. So what's been happening? We had this thing in the news today. We had this shooting down in Florida. And how many times are we going to see this story continue to repeat itself? You know? It's getting to be... I don't want to say tiresome. That's not the word. What? Brutal.
Normal, right.
Normal. It's the new norm. But, you know, come on. To begin with, gee, guns, a kid shooting in a school, Florida? Boy, those seem to be synonymous with each other.
The only difference here is that this is the first time the gunman didn't either kill himself or get killed.
Right.
In a long time,
So that's going to be interesting. You know,
how's it going to be interesting? He's not.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming they'll learn from him. Maybe what they should do is put him in a cage and study him.
He's 19, so he'll be tried as an adult.
He's an adult.
Yeah, he is an adult.
First, if what you're saying, Mr. Gun Lover, if what you're saying is true, then he's mentally disturbed and maybe can't stand trial.
Yes, that's true.
Well, you know what it is. Let me put it this way. I would go for an insanity defense if I were a lawyer. Because here's my argument. To say this guy isn't insane is to say taking a gun, going into a schoolroom, and shooting it up and killing 17 people is a rational act.
Right.
And I would hate...
They did it themselves.
Let me see here. Jason has his hand up. His whole hand up, by the way. It's right.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on my iPad.
Yeah.
But his last name, I think, was Cruz.
Yeah.
So he's probably some
he's a
ethnicity
dreamer
of Hispanic. So I'm just great. Build the wall. Get a kick off.
I don't think he was Hispanic. He didn't look Hispanic, but
how could you say he didn't look Hispanic? I haven't seen a picture of him yet. Have you?
Yeah, they got a picture of him.
Yeah, they show pictures.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay.
I thought he did.
Red hair.
How's it spelled? C-R-U-Z? Or C-R-U-S-E?
I don't see the spelling of the name, but they got his picture laying on the ground. You know where I stand on this. I think it's the problem occurs because the school system and the parents take the easy way out, and they drug these kids up, and they let them go out into society, and then when they stop taking the drugs, they grab the parent's gun, which should be locked up, and they go out and shoot a bunch of people.
Well, I think that also is the everybody's a winner thing. And when you're not a winner, he got kicked out of school recently. Right?
Yeah, but you know what? Some student was interviewed, and he said, I know this guy, and every teacher in the school, he has a problem with every teacher in the school. So when you see a problem kid like this, and you don't get him help, this is what they do.
So who are you blaming for that? Because what I love about the Republicans is every time there's a problem like this, they assign the blame somewhere other than where the problem is.
Not Republican. This is Phil Meyer saying that the school and the parents and society are the fault for this, to allow this kid to function the way he's functioning, and then they go out and do shit like this. They've had these signs all along that this kid's been acting out.
Yeah, but I don't care about any of that. What we have are 17 dead kids. All right.
Well,
Plain
you're being
simple.
myopic.
Myopic?
Myopic.
Myopic. Yeah, Myopic looked at my eyes. He said, "You need new glasses."
Well, so you've got blinders on.
Yeah.
So this is the reaction. You're talking about the reaction, not the thing that caused the problem in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
The kid took the gun.
Have a gun.
Yeah. Let's throw the
gun. He'd use manure.
Let's divert the blame and not come to solutions. Okay.
That's right. And that's what you do when you blame the gun.
Even on Fox News, I put on Fox News to see how they were covering it. First of all, it's interesting finally to see Fox News covering the same news as the other news channels. So that was good. And they were actually saying, maybe this, you think maybe this time we'll get some legislation around guns and all that. I couldn't believe I was hearing it out of Fox News. Blew my mind.
Ailes is gone.
Well, I think that there's a point at which we have to suddenly say it's not a good idea and it's terrible, and we've got to come to an answer on this thing. Hello, first of all, to Renee. She's in Hawaii, and why don't you just move the camera just a little bit so we'll still see the sunset, but we'll also see you. There we go. That's perfect. That's wonderful. Yes, Jason.
It's a little bit of hair like Cousin It.
I just gotta say, I gotta sign out because my computer's screwing up so much, and I should go to bed. So,
what are you away from home, Skyping on this thing? What are you doing? Where are you?
He's probably in a hotel. Is why the Wi-Fi is so different for him.
Yeah, I'm in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I'm in Cleveland in a hotel. So
yeah.
Cleveland.
Okay,
Rock.
Jason, try and call us on Friday, since that will be your every other Friday.
Hey, my wife's gonna come into town, so I can't.
You mean you're gonna still be in Cleveland?
Yeah. I'm here for 3 weeks.
Oh wow! Well, listen, when she leaves next time, you can call anytime you want to, and she's not there to say, or is she gonna come stay?
Is this a telephone?
No, she's coming in for the weekend, so yeah, I think I might try to call a couple of times, but I probably won't be able to stay, for the whole show.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But we love seeing you and having you.
Telephone convention or something.
We're doing a fiber project, same like Alex got in his apartment building.
Yeah,
we're doing some apartment buildings down here, putting in fiber. So
it's a fiber project. They're going to eat lots of oatmeal.
Make it regular.
It will shit really good.
Yes, Renee.
So. I just want to say,
good night,
Jason. But protect Sam if she's going to that shithole state of Ohio.
All right. Good night.
Okay. Good night. That's Jason, ladies and gentlemen, whose wife occasionally will let him call the program, and when she's not there, he'll also call the program, which I think is appropriate. Thank you, Jason. Remove person from group. There we go. Hello, Renee. There you are. The sun's going down in Hawaii. You love to show us that sunset. It's perfectly sending light through your hair. That's.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, the hair light. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so it's been really bad. So I had to go to Honolulu last week, but I listened to you guys anyway. And we've been socked in because we've been having weather from the south, and then we had a fire close between us and Kona, and we haven't seen the sun I haven't seen the sun in like 3 days now. So this is kind of the first time it's
And you bought that house for the sunsets, damn it. What?
Next is the locust and the plague.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Now that's for God-fearing people. That's for the people who believe that Lent was important.
But let's get back to this thing. I'm sorry, but I just think that we have to do something about guns, and we have to do something of a aggressive nature. I don't think that the Constitution provides for people to have the right to bear arms promiscuously. It does provide it for a well-ordered militia. That means the police can have them. But that's a militia. But, Scott isn't a militia and Rob isn't a militia. And I got news for you. You are, because you're part of the police. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. If this kid took a 67 Oldsmobile and mowed 17 kids down at a bus stop, would you be yelling to get all Oldsmobiles off the street?
Was he licensed? Was he insured?
An automobile,
did he have proof?
An automobile has a purpose. A gun has no purpose but to kill.
No, the gun has plenty of purpose.
No, tell me what. Oh, yes, I forgot. You can turn the gun over and use the butt to drive nails into a board.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, I forgot. There's another reason for a gun.
Those paper targets over there,
Yeah. Well, that is for fun, and skill, and I say, fine, you can have a gun for target shooting as long as you keep the gun at the target range.
Well, I keep it in a safe.
Well, that's very nice.
But if you were to go off, you have the combination of that safe.
Yeah, but if I was that pissed off, I couldn't remember it. You know?
No,
you can't compare a car to a gun.
I mean, there are people who's to say that you don't get a brain tumor and something goes wacky in your brain and you unlock that safe and go out and kill half the neighborhood.
Wait a second. He voted for Trump. How if that's already true?
Yeah.
They need more parking. What'd you say, Renee?
Nothing.
Own your words, Renee. Own your words.
Oh, yeah. So here's the deal. We have this conversation every time there's a shooting. There's a shooting almost every week, but definitely every 2 weeks. The conversation is, we don't think mentally unstable people should have guns. You country western people, you NRA people, don't carry that same thought process. So as these shootings get to be more and more like on a weekly basis instead of a bi-weekly basis, all you're going to hear out of us is, you can fix it, you just choose not to.
I think what's sick here is there is more effort on the part of these people put into preserving their right to bear arms than to stop these kids from getting killed.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
And the other thing I keep hearing...
It's the liberals' fault. You know, they're the ones that say, "Oh, everybody's a winner. Give them a participation trophy. Don't hurt his feelings."
That's not a liberal thing.
That's
a bunch of stupid parents who figure that kids don't have to achieve anything.
Right.
We want to give them a star. You want to give them something that they can kill somebody with.
Give them a gold star.
Just for showing up.
Stars today?
Yeah, but I'm saying, why is it that so much effort is put into maintaining the right to bear arms, supposedly, and that same effort is not being put into trying to solve this problem?
Because
nobody wants to solve it.
Wait a minute. Rob is answering it first.
Nobody wants to solve it. And I'll tell you, quite frankly, I put on the news this afternoon, I've been paying attention to the important news that's going on because, to me, this isn't important. Yeah. Because if you keep banging your head against the wall, eventually you're going to get a concussion, right? Yeah. So you stop banging your head against the wall. I don't care about these shootings anymore because nobody's going to do anything about them. I put on the news today when I got a break from work. I took like an hour break this afternoon, and I wanted to hear more about the important stuff that's going on, like how this country is going to shit. And I see that, oh, look at this. And I turned it off. That's what made me put on Fox to see what they were. There is nothing that is important about this stuff anymore. I feel terrible for the parents. I would be devastated. I know that it's a horrible thing, but to cover it wall to wall, for what end?
Yeah,
what's the end game here?
Yeah.
He's exactly right.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's not being callous, and I have terrible empathy for these folks. It's horrible what happened.
The Route 66 people are still saying, oh, it's too soon to talk about it. Guess what? More children just died because you can't pull your head out of your ass. But it's not your kid, so it's okay.
It's too soon to joke about it.
No, they say it's too soon to talk about it. It's been a year. And the only reason Route 66 shooting happened is because the same reason this shooting happened.
Right.
You refuse to admit that mentally ill people should not have guns.
What Route 66 shooting?
I refuse to call it Las Vegas because the country music people are in bed with the NRA. I'm not dinging Las Vegas for this shooting. I'm dinging the people who actually did it. So you country music people are in bed with the NRA. You get shot up. I'm going to say thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, you're going to say thoughts and prayers? I'm going to say.
I'm
going to say when they cry about all the people that they lost.
Right.
I'm not going to say thoughts and prayers. I'm going to say that's what you get. You put the gun in people's hands. You made it available.
Those people vote Democratic. The
country people vote Democratic. Are you kidding me?
The ones that get shot up.
Huh?
The ones that get shot up.
Right. So all those people, the country music people that were at the Route 66 concert were Democrats?
No. The ones that do the shooting are your Republicans. The ones that get shot are the Democrats. It's just a way of thinning the herd.
Yeah, well, we'd like to thin the herd. And I decided, see, you guys think that I'm against guns because I think a gun is ugly. It's not ugly. It's just a thing. If I was going to shoot a gun, I went online and I looked it up. I would shoot a CAT-5.
That's a piece of wire.
It's a sniper rifle gun. Yeah, it's a Cat-5. It's a sniper rifle gun that the longest recorded kill shot in history, and that's the gun the Canadian sniper rifle guy used.
What are you going to do? Shoot the whales out there?
No, there's enough Republicans here that I could just pick those bastards up.
There we go. There we go.
There's no Republicans in Hawaii.
By the way, anybody wants to join this conversation, it's a good one. It's a good one.
You know what? I think it's a boring conversation because we're not saying anything new.
What we're going to do is we're going to feel upset about it. We're going to yell and scream about our ire about it happening. Phil is going to justify it. And then after it's all through, there'll be another shooting and another bunch of people dead. And we'll gripe about that. And we'll, for a week or so, people get insane over this stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's back to business as usual.
The conversation on this one's going to stop probably in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, because
it's probably going to stop in about the next 10.
Yeah.
If nothing happened after Sandy Hook, nothing is going to happen.
All I'm saying is I love people who say, isn't this gun beautiful? What? How's a gun beautiful? I mean, it's a piece of hardware. It's a piece of hardware. Isn't this hammer beautiful? Don't you just love the lines on this hammer?
I'm not afraid of a hammer. I'm just not afraid of a tool.
Look,
that's got a use for it. Not everybody should have a hammer.
Let me
actually, when the government pays $750.
Let me disabuse Phil's statement and try and tell him, because he probably doesn't know the difference between a gun and a car. All right.
Well, look, in England.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you going to listen to me? I just started talking. Are you going to listen to me?
All right. All right. You're asking me. Okay.
A car, you have to take many, many lessons before you're even allowed to drive it. All right? How many lessons do you have to take for a gun in order to own one?
In order to carry it or to own it?
To own it and carry it.
Well, it's two different things.
No, not in Virginia.
Well,
not in Virginia.
To carry it concealed. In many states that have those licenses require you to go through like a 1 week course of instruction and pass a proficiency test.
That's interesting because you're teaching people how to aim, shoot, and fire.
Right, but you also
with a car, it's slightly different. You're taught how to make it move forward, but not do any harm to anybody.
But part of the thing that you learn when you go to these courses is the laws of arrest, search, seizure, probable cause. No.
You're talking about cops. We're talking about common people. If I want to own a gun, although I can't really own one that easily in New York City, but
I can.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Let's take Rob. Rob, you want to buy a gun tomorrow? What do you have to do?
The Sullivan Act.
Can you let me ask a question here? What would you have to do, Phil? Rob.
I when I first moved here in 2000, I think it was late 2007 or early 2008. I went to in Virginia. I went to the Dulles Expo, and they had a gun show there, and I could have bought anything I wanted and walked out with it that day. Mm-hmm. People were walking around with, the kinds of things that were for sale would be your wet dream there, Phil. It's just, and I was thinking about getting one because I was like, I can, so why not? And I was walking around and I just went, why do I want this? I don't. And I left.
Yeah, but
like,
the point is, in most states of this country, you can buy a gun and you don't have to take any lessons to use
No lessons, no nothing.
All right? That's for starters. That's for starters. You don't have somebody also who then gives you a test to see if you can pass that test before you can own that gun.
And maybe recertification after a couple of years. Like
no
a driver's
insurance,
license.
no safety checkup on the gun. Is it going to blow up in your face because you didn't put it back together?
Yeah, what about having a law where people who buy guns are required to show insurance like you do with a car?
No, why would they do that?
Huh?
It's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
So I've run into a few people on the island that actually are pro-gun people, and they say that they don't even want to register their guns because then the government will know that they've got them.
That's a possibility.
That's fucking paranoia.
Look at Koresh. You know, they came for his guns because they thought that he was buying illegal parts. You know, there are people that trust the government, and you know, it's not that I distrust the government, but I am weary of the government. I don't believe.
Don't we have to register our cars? Aren't we afraid the government's going to come for them?
You know why we register our cars? So the government can get tax money. All
maybe they can tax your
but also,
great idea. Let's tax the
also they want cars registered so that they can, if they're in an accident, they can find the people who own the cars. I mean, there are a lot of reasons for registering cars.
Somebody had an idea that I kind of support, that if you buy bullets, that the bullets would be registered to the person that bought them. So there'd be like some sort of micro something in the bullet so that it would be traceable to the person who bought them. I don't think that's
a great idea. That's a great idea.
It's a great idea. The only problem is you can make bullets yourself.
Well, yes.
Even still, you'd have to buy casings.
Yeah, and you buy the bullet.
There'd be a whole illegal market for casings. You know,
I mean, the bullets. You can reload casings, but it's not the casing that fires the round. It's the projectile that that is usually not made. You know,
well, I got to tell you. I mean, we can sit here arguing about this thing all we want to till we're blue in the face. But I agree with Rob. Why talk about it? Because nothing's going to be done. All right. If nothing was done when we had the shooting in Connecticut, what was the name of that school? Sandy Hook. If that didn't do it, if that didn't break the camel's back, when little children were getting murdered, I don't think even this or a bunch of gays in a gay nightclub in Florida are going to make a difference. Nobody's going to do anything about it. Everybody's going to piss and moan for a day, and then it's back to business as usual. And then when the next one happens, Rob's going to come on here and be absolutely right when he says, I don't give a shit because nobody's doing anything about it.
Right. We can't get the NRA people to understand that mentally ill people do not need to have firearms, and they refuse to do anything about it. So guess what? You get shot up,
Not even try to do anything about it.
Thoughts and prayers, bitches.
Not even mentally ill people should not be in possession of a firearm. Felons shouldn't be in a possession of a firearm. And I am all for prosecuting the parents or the owners of these firearms that get into the hands of someone that does these kinds of heinous acts. If you go to a bar and the bartender gives you too much alcohol and you get in your car and drive, that bartender is culpable. Right. If you go out and you kill somebody, that bartender's culpable. He just as if he drove the car himself.
Phil, what about the guy? What about the gun manufacturer? What about the guy who sold the gun to whoever?
Because it's not the manufacturer.
Oh, look what she got.
It's not the manufacturer, Scott. It's the guy who puts the gun in his hand. The
gun owner, then the store, the gun Walmart. Okay, sue Walmart. I don't care.
For the burden of responsibility, the responsibility should be on the people that own the gun.
The bar owner was just selling alcohol. That's all he was doing.
So the storing the guns properly.
You touched the nerve with Scott.
But the other issue is we won't prosecute them for hiring illegal aliens. Why the fuck would we prosecute them for selling guns?
Well, of course not, because the illegal aliens can come to San Francisco and shoot nice innocent women and kill them and not get convicted.
Yeah,
One woman got killed by an alien, and you've been touting that, and you and Trump forever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Renee is showing us her sucker's bed.
Unboxing. You know, unboxings usually get a lot of viewers.
Yeah, really? Oh.
Yeah.
There's a guy who just does unboxings, and you get to look at all the cool stuff that they send.
My friend Matt must have 25, 30 videos of unboxings.
Okay, well, she's going to unbox a HomePod.
Be careful with that where you put it. I read today that they're doing damage to surfaces that you put them on.
Really?
That's what I read that today.
All right, let's see what's on the bottom. Wait, hold on. We got to show it to you since it's still in the
There we go. She just ordered a giant Apple dildo.
That's some dildo.
There's nothing on the bottom of it. I don't know why it would do that.
Yeah, but in back of that, if you were to take that off, which you can't do.
Right.
Oh, look! It looks like his computer. It looks like his Mac Pro. Yeah. But anyway, if you were to take the bottom off, which you can't do, I've seen online in there are some electronics, so they could get maybe hot or something else, and maybe put it on a coaster or something like that. You know.
All right.
But
I'll put it on glass. And
not flammable.
Supposedly they say the sound is good, but it's not as good as some of the other products. It's certainly better than the Alexa because the Alexa isn't meant to be a super audio product.
Can't you get auxiliary speakers for these things that
Alexa, you can.
Oh, everybody wants to see you unbox that thing. Can you?
Yeah.
Will you be able to plug it in while we're sitting here? And
take it off. Take it all off.
Now, how much wire do they give you there? What is that?
This actually, it is the wire. It's a whole nother unit with just the actual wire. So hold on a second. We could take this apart.
So I mean, do they give you a lot of wire so you can hook it far away or whatever?
No, it's Bluetooth. All you need to do is put this near electrical. This is just electrical. I don't need to hook it up to anything else other than electricity. It'll all be run off of my iPhone.
Yeah.
It's all Bluetooth. This is the only thing. This is an AC/DC.
And so you plug that in. That's how it gets its power, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then the rest of the controls are all done off of your iPhone.
Does that cord plug into the HomePod? Is there like a plug there?
It plugs into the wall.
No, but I mean, it's got to have it's got to be like a plug that you can plug into the HomePod, because if it isn't, suppose that thing gets ripped out of there.
Isn't that the HomePod?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Yep. That's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing. But I'm talking about the wire that's going to the HomePod. Does it just go right into the HomePod, or is it a?
Looks like it.
It's AC/DC. There's no wire.
What happens if you accidentally rip the wire out? You know, that's why you have plugs that plug into most of these things.
Don't do that, Alex. You don't rip the cords off the cables.
I know you don't rip the cords off the cable. Well, that sounds like Bill Cosby. You don't rip the cords off the cable.
You drop it off the top of your roof.
Yeah.
It breaks.
Well, here's the thing. I read that they say that if you want these things break and you want to have them fixed, did you get the warranty with it, by the way? Did you get the Apple Care?
No, but Phil, remind me to tell you something.
Wait a minute, because the Apple Care, if you don't have that, they're going to charge you something like $200 to fix it.
Yes, so I don't normally have Apple Care, but in this particular case, I might buy it only because I live on an island and I don't know what else to do.
You have it. You have it plugged in right now because the light is on the top. Okay.
Did you hear it?
Yeah. And can you talk to it? Do you say Siri? Hey Siri.
You probably got to get on your wireless network. You got to do all the settings.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to set it up via my phone.
Well, just say, "Hey Siri," and see if anything happens.
Nothing's going to happen yet.
Hey Siri, are you there? Nope, sorry. Not present.
No Siri.
What do you want for $300?
You got to set it up.
$345, isn't it? Well, how much is that thing?
$349. And just so that you know, I've already complained to them because I want a couple more dummy speakers, and I want to buy them separately and put them in a couple of the rooms, because while this is an open concept house, there are certain walls, and I find that my internet sucks because of the walls. So I'm going to assume the Bluetooth on this might have problems, and they don't have the new ones in production yet, where I don't have to, if I wanted more right now, I have to pay another $350 to get more.
Well, if you want stereo, you have to buy another one.
This thing should put out what you need when you watch a movie without a problem.
The point is, it is not stereo, however. That I know.
Without two speakers. You know how the Bose, home system, creates that surround sound?
By the way, our viewership jumped the minute you unboxed that thing.
I'm telling you.
So hold it up and let them see the thing. Hold it up closer to your camera and let them see it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the box. Let's see the HomePod. There we are. That's it, folks. And another
unboxing is one of the biggest items on YouTube.
Really?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And we just plugged it in, so it's what I call breathing.
And you can't get to show the packaging. You got to show how it's packed, even the the little pellets.
Well, we should have her set the thing up and get it going.
Yeah.
I know. Do you want to come to my house and set up all of my audio equipment?
But all you have to do is just get it so it's going with the Wi-Fi, and then you can do all the stuff you need to do with it.
Keep talking to me when I'm trying to spell something. Go ahead.
What are you trying to spell?
No, I need to pick up. Oh, wait, it just showed up on my. Look, I haven't even looked at any apps. I was trying to pull up the HomePod app, and look what just showed up on my phone.
Well, you know what happens with the Alexa app that I had? I bought the. Oh God, I cut myself.
Hey, Alexa is so.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have the Alexa app, right? So I ordered. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I ordered the Echo Spot. As soon as I ordered it, it came up on my Alexa app.
Oh, really? Good.
So that's what's happening with you there. Hold on a second. I'm going to sneeze.
Gesundheit.
He doesn't sneeze. He doesn't sneeze like a guy. So we're waiting.
There we go.
Yes, and I have music.
He's got a sneeze switch.
Okay.
So you know what? That was a very good point, and I didn't say anything that I should have.
Yeah.
According to what I've read, you have to have Apple Music in order to make your HomePod play the music.
That's correct. And when you have and guess what happens when you have an Alexa? You have to have their Amazon Music.
Right. Same.
Now, Amazon.
Wait a minute. Did I just hear something?
It did something.
Yeah, it's telling you it's connected.
Is it really? Say, "Hey Siri" now and see what happens.
It's not up
Hang on,
yet.
it's still spinning.
Oh, it's still spinning. Right. Okay, signing
There's
in.
a little thing that just says
You're gonna have to get to a point. You're gonna have to put in your Wi-Fi password and everything to get it on your Wi-Fi network.
Probably just goes
we
on
have
the phone.
we have the most people watching us right now that we've had all night because she's unboxing an HomePod.
We're up to 31. Come on.
No. Actually, here I see 35.
33.
35.
Open the box and look at the packaging.
Hi Siri.
Say, "Hey Siri, what can you do?"
Hey Siri, what can you do?
I can do lots of things, like turn on the lights, give you a news update, and tell you about the weather. Now you try. Say, "Hey Siri."
Well, why has he got an Australian
Siri,
accent?
play some music.
It was an import.
No.
I have. So if you guys don't know this, you can change your Siri.
Well, wait a minute. Hey, yeah, but you've got an Australian there.
Yes, mine is a guy, and he's an Aussie.
Where'd you get it from? Australia?
No, it's an Apple choice. There's only three choices.
It picks up the flavor on your phone, whatever you had your phone set to.
So my phone is set to
Renee, is there an Apple store on your island?
There used to be, but then now the only Apple reseller here is some jackass that has Trump stickers all over his car.
Just say, "Hey Siri, what time is it?"
Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 11:35 p.m.
That's my phone going off.
p.m.
Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 6:35 p.m.
Hey Siri, what time is it in New York City?
In New York, it's 11:35 p.m.
Actually, the sound sounds pretty good coming out of that thing.
So the deal is I haven't done anything to my phone, but when I turned this on, it notified my phone that it was there and that it wanted to set it up. So I started my setup via the phone. So how much easier?
Don't play any music though, because I'll have nothing but trouble from YouTube. Okay.
I don't think he has the service yet.
Well, actually, I do, but I only have like 6 songs. So because I just got it.
Because here's what happened to me yesterday. I did a new promo. For Rob. I redid the what's on Gabnet spot. I just took your voice as we normally do, and I put in different audio in there. So I freshened it up. And I got some new music from a place we go called Audio Blocks, where we pay so much per year, like $100 a year, and we can use all the music we can eat, all right? Royalty free. So I put this music on it. So last night, we do the video here, right? And it runs I run that spot. And a lot of people who listen to the recorded version don't hear those spots because that's what I cut off. But if you're doing it from the very beginning, what goes on is the spots, the promos. And so what I did last night with the promos, I ran that new promo, and I get a thing from YouTube saying you violated copyright. It's somebody else's music where you can't monetize it, but they can, blah, blah, blah. If you want to dispute it, dispute it. And I disputed it by saying, I own this fucking music. I bought it. And then I got a hold of Audio Blocks, and they are getting a hold of YouTube to complain about it. But that's a perfect example of why I don't want you to play music, because if you play somebody, they will it will pick that up. Because this was only music under his voice and under a bunch of voices, and it picked it up, So.
Oh, lost Scott.
We lost Scott. So
hey, what's this about CNET saying that Chrome, Google Chrome is ad blocking, and it's changing the way that you view the web because it's blocking online ads.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of think that's nice. And then it said that Elon Musk is doing something with broadband from outer space, and the FCC is behind it. So that's an interesting thing, too. I don't know the full story, but, I guess the rocket that they sent up is doing something to give broadband from outer space. So that would bring it to areas of the world where it isn't accessible.
Well,
But I think,
yeah.
go ahead.
What were you going to say, Rob?
I was going to say, for my money, you're talking about what's interesting. I think the most real interesting news story today is that Congress has decided to actually figure out they're actually going to do a whole what do they call them? They're not trials, but they're going to do a study or whatever on what happened with this whole their investigation. There's the word on what happened with this whole debacle with Porter. I think that, and this is the Republicans in Congress.
Good.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I understand now. I don't know. I wonder how his supporters in West Virginia and all this are going to feel, because Trump has suggested a 25-cent gas tax increase in order to help pay for his porn
star.
No, not as porn stars. For his infrastructure bill. So now he's going to be taxing all these people who don't make any money. They're going to love him.
Mm-hmm.
Here is a notion that a girlfriend today had, and a couple other people have had lately. They're thinking about dropping Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because everybody is getting a little sick of Facebook and the way in which they are handling what they consider serious national problems.
Well, what's happening is Facebook isn't appealing to the millennials anymore. They're going for Snapchat.
No, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. Were you going to play music there for a second? Don't do it. Otherwise, I'm going to get one of these things from.
What it has to do with people going away from Facebook.
Yeah.
As I was just adding to your conversation, that people are going away from Facebook. I'm looking at it less. I'm actually taking people and doing. There's something you can do so that for 30 days you don't have to see their stuff unless you go to their page.
Well, here's the thing that's bothered girlfriend is that they've started an algorithm at Facebook that will limit you to about 12 people to see on your headlines or whatever.
Probably okay.
No, she says she wants to read about it a lot more than that because she has a lot more friends than that, and they're starting to limit that. I left them and went to YouTube because I have less problems with YouTube, both technologically, in which it's absolutely superior. In all about 3 weeks we've been using it, it has never glitched once. Okay, it's been just a beautiful stream going out. But I was always having all kinds of problems with Facebook. Rather than send you a note like YouTube does saying you are not in compliance with copyright, somebody owns the copyright to that song, and I then can dispute it and say, hey, you're wrong, I own that. Maybe your algorithms picked up a different song or whatever. With Facebook, there was no notification. With Facebook, they simply stopped the broadcast. Rather than blank the sound out or whatever, they just stop the broadcast. I don't need that kind of situation.
I remember you saying that YouTube had the anti-nudity thing. It was actually Facebook. That friend of mine who shot the nude photos.
Yeah.
He had the cover of one of his books had a woman's breast pressing up against the inside of a glass door.
Yeah.
And it was sort of a foggy kind of thing.
Yeah.
He got thrown off for 30 days.
Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds.
No music. Don't give us any music. No, none, 0. Okay? Because if you do it, I'm going to get a notification, and I don't want that. I don't need that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, she turned off her audio and she's dancing to the music. I get it. You could ask it to play our program. I think that we're on iTunes.
Yeah. It's kind of like Slapback.
Yeah.
It does that.
I love my little Alexa Spot, Echo Spot. It's terrific. Yeah. I mean, lying there by the bed, I see it works as the clock, bedside clock. If I want to, have it wake me up, I just say, set the alarm for such and such tomorrow morning, and that's it. When I wake up, I ask for my flash briefing, and it plays me a Reuters video of a 5-minute compendium of the day's news.
Huh. I used to have a thing I bought from Sharper Image years ago, a bedside clock, and you could press the button for different sounds.
Hey, no, wait a minute. Is that you, Scott? Don't do that.
No, I didn't do nothing. I'm just laughing at you.
Oh, so this thing, let's say you wanted the sound of a brook or a river or rain, and you press different buttons and you get those things. It would help you fall asleep. Can you do that with the Spot?
What is she playing?
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. Okay, fine. Why'd you just cut it?
I think she likes that.
She's got to finish with the song. God, she's just a troublemaker tonight. Yeah.
Like a kid at Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I don't sing.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that the algorithms at YouTube will be able to decipher your singing anyway. You know.
Oh God, thank you. But you know what, Rob, you have a very good point about all of that. I completely agree with Rob's statement on it. I just don't. I just think it's just why do we have to come back here?
By the way, Forbes Colossus says, Renee, you're mental. It's a talk show. And then he says, Renee's epileptic seizure.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Great place to get epilepsy out there in paradise.
There you go.
Right?
Not a chance.
Right?
I can put the No song on from what's
No
her name?
songs.
No, it says no. It says the whole song is no. You want my phone number? No. You want my name? No. You want my digits? No.
Sounds
Just
like
get
my mother.
over it? No.
I go out and play? No.
Now, my question is, how many of you out there listening, and how many here on the panel, since it's a very small panel tonight, are afraid of these things sitting there in your house because, quite frankly, they have a microphone in them?
You can actually, so hold on. You can turn off this guy, but the other ones like the Alexa and those, they don't turn off.
Well, I can pull the plug out of the wall on the Alexa and it won't be able to hear anything.
But I can make this guy stop listening. You
I had
guys,
a problem. Most women I went out with turned off.
Right.
Well, the issue is you heard about the whole case, right? Some guy had one of the Alexas, and there was a murder that happened in the house, and the police officers had to go to court in order to get this transcripts of what Alexa might have heard, and they had to get them to release all of that documentation. But the police are actually thinking that it was recorded on the Alexa.
Well, that's a good thing because you need a warrant. Otherwise, if you obtain that evidence could be challenged because it wasn't obtained with a warrant. So
yeah, and they did go that route, but it was one of the first cases ever of one of these assistants being tapped in that way because the owners of it are dead. So who do you get the warrant from? Because you can't get
it from a judge.
Right.
You get a warrant from a judge if you have probable cause to feel that you're going to be able to gain that evidence.
Right. So some of these, if what I read on CNET is correct, some of them can turn off and you can ask them not to record things or, not to listen in. And some of them you actually have to pull the plug from the wall. But I don't remember which ones they were talking about. Other than this guy, you can tell him to stop recording, to stop listening.
So because he's got an Aussie accent, it's a him? Yeah.
You can. I haven't named this guy, but I like my series that talks, and I like Australia. So
can you use any name? Because in mine, I have a choice of names, and it's a good reason why. Because if I used Alexa, hey Alexa, blah 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 blah, it might, when somebody just says Alex, it might trigger it off. So we use Echo, and I say Echo. And the other night I was talking about the Echo to somebody, and it said, yes. I mean, I'll tell you what's kind of interesting about it to me, in that when I was a kid, I loved science fiction. I loved the idea of the world of the future. And there were always people in all these movies who were talking to a computer in their house saying, open the door, close the door, do whatever, And what that has become is fiction has become reality.
You know how you talk to Siri and about 70% of the time she says, I don't understand that, or these are the things I can do.
You want to know what the problem with Siri is? Is exactly that. Siri is very bad artificial intelligence. On the other hand, Alexa, they did a test of all these various systems, and Alexa supposedly had one of the best. She understands maybe 90% of what I say.
And see, that's what CNET was saying.
90%
well,
of what
that's
you
what
say.
That's what CNET was saying. They said, even though that even though that Alexa and Amazon and all the rest of them are further ahead in the voice recognition stuff and what they can and can't assist you with, the Apple piece doesn't have that. Siri isn't on par with those others right at the moment, but they're rolling out the software updates. So in some point in time, this is going to be a more functional piece of equipment and you will have less to complain about. But currently, Siri is not as functional as the rest.
And you believe them?
It's software. They should be able to.
But you know, Siri was the first artificial intelligence of this sort to be out there with the phone and everything. So they should be ahead of everybody rather than behind everybody. But supposedly, I find Google's voice recognition pretty much spot on, and I find that the Alexa is pretty spot on. But whenever I use Siri on my phone, half the time I have to, you know, say it again and again and again until she gets it right. Look, I'm talking about
Alexa understands my wife's pretty thick accent. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are people who complain that they have a thick accent and they can't use Siri.
So that was one of the things that CNET was talking about, was that even though that Siri's in here, it's still the tool. Siri as a tool is not as advanced as the other options that are out there. But again, it's a software push. So
I'm wondering why Apple hasn't gone around buying every artificial intelligence company they can to improve Siri to a point where nobody can touch them. But they apparently haven't. You know,
Steve Jobs is not running the company. That's why.
That's what Cisco did, is they went out and they bought a whole bunch of companies and they tried to integrate them into the Cisco lifestyle, and it didn't work. So there's got to be a balance here. You can't go out and buy a whole bunch of companies that do something different and expect them to work into your nomenclature. You have to say, okay, this might be worth purchasing, and then we can cram it into here. Yeah. But just to go out and buy it isn't going to help it.
Yeah. So why did you buy that? You know, I mean, it's the last thing I would buy, actually. I mean, I have limited funds, but you probably do too. Oh, look at the sunset in back of her.
But that's kind of the issue, though. But see, I'm already in. It's the same thing you've already said. I'm already embedded in the Apple architecture. So,
yeah, but I found that I got Alexa, and then I got the Echo Spot, right? I got Echo and the Echo Spot, and I am embedded in the Apple architecture. But I found that this didn't make me an outsider at all. In fact, I can actually, if I want to use two-way, what is it? Two-step activation or whatever. Yeah. If I want to do that. I can integrate all my Apple Calendar and my Apple phone book and everything into my Echo system, or the Echo ecosystem. So I can use it. See?
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm an all Apple guy, except I have Alexa. I've got two of the I don't remember what they're, the taps. I have two taps. I've got one in my office, one in my home theater downstairs, and I've got the full size Echo in my kitchen. Yeah. And I, because they do work with our phones, so I don't feel like I'm outside of the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah. And as I say, if I do the two-factor recognition thing, I can then sync my Apple contacts, my Apple Calendar, all of that to my Alexa. So I'm not out of the Apple ecosystem if I don't want to be. I just don't want to do that two-factor recognition right now.
So the other
pain in the ass.
Is it a pain in the ass?
I think it is.
What do you do? It gives you some numbers or something, and you've got to always.
Yeah, and so every time, like, they think they forget who you are, and you got a lot where you got to log into another, like iCloud. You got to log in on a browser it doesn't recognize or whatever. It's a pain in the ass.
What does it do? It asks you for the 4 digits or something, right?
You got but you got to have. I couldn't get it. I mean, this is what I do for a living, and I'm struggling with it. I said, what? I turned it off, and I said, that's the end of two-factor authentication.
Same thing.
Don't need it.
But you put in it's only 4 numbers, right? Something like that.
Right, but I don't. And again, this is going back now about a year, so I don't remember it happened to me like 3 or 4 times where I logged into a browser and I couldn't do what I needed to do, especially when you're talking about upgrading your phone or doing something.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you're trying to fix your frickin' phone, and now you got to figure out why it is you can't, because your phone's not working, you can't get the text.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a nightmare. So I said, no more two-factor authentication.
Yeah, well, they want to force you to use that. But if I had that, I could wind up using it on my Echo.
So the other theory behind this speaker is, which I haven't taken you in since it's been finished, and I'd have to switch computers, which I will do maybe next time, is the other room is one big room, one great room. And instead of me figuring out the calibrations for the two speakers on this that have to be at the 2 foot, and then the two speakers that have to be in the bookshelf, and to figure out where you're sitting, and the whole setup for the entire room just to watch a movie, because it is a open room, I figure if I go with this puppy, then I have a whole lot less calibration to do, and then I don't have to mess with the TV as much. Meaning if I'm watching a drama, I don't have to set the whole sound system to a drama. Right. If I'm watching a car chase movie like Baby Driver, which I'm waiting to see, and now I can see that I've got this thing here because I hear the soundtrack to Baby Driver is really good. I don't have to set it up because I have a great room. This, hopefully, shy of the subwoofer off a side of it, this should take care of both my bookshelf speakers and my floor speakers.
Oh.
I'm hoping.
But how can it power a room that is a large room? You still got to have enough thing to move the cone. You got to have enough air moving the cone. And
what you think Apple people didn't go in there and figure out how to make
my speaker system? I have two Altec Lansing Voice of the Theater speakers. They have 15-inch woofers, 22-inch horns, and
your head.
Yeah. Yeah. And, well, here's what I bought.
Some sound with that.
Here's what I bought today.
What is that? You put it in your nose?
Huh?
What is that?
They're Bluetooth Bluetooth headset.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
And animatics?
No, it's $25. What's the name of the company?
These look stupid, but they're great.
What are the
sound ports?
Did you hear that?
But anyway,
I know that somebody's Apple, those buds that you got there, one of them blew up in somebody's ear.
Yeah.
That's because he was using it as a crack pipe.
Well, all I know is the audio is very good on this thing. And I'm thinking about maybe putting in a transmitter here so that I can just use it while I'm on the air here and move around a little more and not be tethered to this,
Well,
I love them.
My Bose ear things came apart again.
Wait a minute. You didn't get the Apple, did you? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Renee, did you get the Apple earpod buds?
Yes, absolutely.
They look like you got hash pipes in your ear.
And they do look like that, but their sound is very good. If you take them out of your ears, they turn. When I take one out of my ear, it turns off.
What if it falls out of your ear and you can't find it?
I've been looking at the Etymotics yesterday and today since my thing's fallen apart.
Yeah.
This is like the fourth time.
Yeah.
And it's off warranty. So there's Etymotics that are $349.
No, you don't want that.
No?
No, you want the ones that are $79.
The $349 ones are studio monitors.
Well, that's fine. The fact is that you want to use it with your iPhone, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, those expensive ones don't have the switches and everything on them. And the volume.
Yeah, because they're reference monitors. Studio monitors are reference monitors. Everything flat.
Yeah.
Do you really want that?
For $79, the Etymotics are just fine. You'll love them.
All right.
Okay, and you can stick them in there and use them. These are the Etymotics right here that I'm using right here.
No, I'll get the custom. I'll give them the molds so that when I order them,
just get the foams like I do, and you squeeze them and you put them in your ear, and then it makes a nice smooth.
It's nothing like a custom plug.
Oh God! Oh, we won't see it till Monday, right?
Tuesday.
Have a good
Tuesday. Excuse me, Tuesday. Good. Right. That'll be good. Everybody, call tomorrow night, will you? Rob, thank you for joining us. Phil, thank you for joining us. Scott, thank you. And Renee, with your new, you actually made our viewership go up with your HomePod. Everybody wants to see the HomePod.
Renee, I'll Skype you to get that question that you wanted me to answer.
Yeah. Everybody, wave goodbye. We got to say goodnight. There they go. There goes the Citizen Panel. Hopefully, we'll see you again tomorrow night, except for Phil. And in the meantime, I got to do a little signing off here of stuff. Let me remind you that coming up next are Jack and Amy. It's with a show called, yes, you know it, let me see here. Did I sign everybody off? Okay, I did? Okay, I'm gone. That's good. Anyway, we're going to, Jack and Amy are next with The Intersection, and right after that, at 1 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time, 10 o'clock out on the West Coast, it's going to be Connections. And then tomorrow night at 9:30, Damien is here with The Exchange, and he sets up the table for me, and I go on at 10. I'll see you tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.